What's up, everyone, and welcome to the final round and the final 9 holes here at the 2022 Las Vegas Challenge. This is the first stop on the Disc Golf Pro Tour, and you're watching it here at Gatekeeper Media. My name is Mitch Phillips. Joining me is your 2021 Disc Golf Pro Tour champion, Mr. Nathan Queen. Talk to me about the front 9 as we're heading into the last 9 here.
Yeah, solid front 9 from a couple players. Need some more birdies, though, if you're really looking to make a push on this final day out here at the Wildhorse Golf Club. We've had a beautiful week here, just a little bit on the cooler side. And you see what I was talking about here. Ricky kind of pulling away a little bit from the other players. But lots of opportunity to get birdies on this back 9.
Yeah, and speaking of pulling away, and we got players shooting 8 down, 9 down. Definitely going to need to really kick it into gear here on our chase card if we're going to be able to jump into those podium spots.
Yeah, and that moves us right into hole 10 here. 721-foot par 4. Pretty tight gap to hit off of the tee. Once you hit that gap, just get your disc to move as straight forward as you can, as long as you can. Shouldn't have too much trouble into play. There is a OB path on the right side if you get it turned over too far. But make this gap and you should have inside 300 feet or so for your upshot. Got Scott on the box here. And he's gonna saw that one off. He'll be in a tough spot now. He'll be scrambling to get a par from there.
Yeah, all those trees are pretty low ceiling, so if you don't get out that, I mean, you may have to even go to a knee. You know, maybe a low skip shot, trying to just work your way down the fairway.
And Garrett gonna go big here. Got a hyzer stand-up driver in his hand, and he does so well. This is moving forward quickly.
And getting a huge skip. Oh my goodness. Is that past the bunker?
Yeah, he's past the bunker over on the left side. He's probably only 100 foot short of the pin there. That was a massive drive.
And only about 3 feet off the ground. It's Ricky looking to match, holding on a little bit longer. But if this is overstable enough, it's going to be enormous. And it is overstable enough.
Yeah, it needs to stay short of the bunker, and just barely does.
Yep.
Great position now, though. He'll be able to most likely throw a putter into the green from there.
See if AB can match both of those, maybe split in the middle. Try to get a good look at that basket. Oh, it's early as well, and actually kicks down where Scott's maybe have fought a little bit through.
Yeah, this tight gap coming into play after having all these open tee shots. A couple of the players not quite able to hit it. They're going to have some work to do.
AB does have a gap and is going for the pin here. Big shot.
Wow,
this can slow down.
Need to stay off of the green. Oh my goodness. What an incredible shot.
That was easily over 500 feet.
Yeah, he didn't make it.
No, not more than maybe 150 off the tee.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't think he made it 150, so he's up there almost inside of the circle now.
Almost full hyzer.
Just incredible shot. It looks like Scott's having a bit of a hard time deciding what he's going to do. Looks like it's going to be low, pushing hyzer on the right side.
Using that golf fairway to his advantage after it touching the ground, probably another 250 feet. It's going to be a good spot, definitely where you'd want a huge drive to land, but should be able to get up on the green to save par as we get to Ricky. As you predicted, just a putter. Nice soft landing.
And you can't do it much better than that.
No, that's absolutely perfect.
Scott now with a good pitch out after a sawed-off drive. He's going to have an opportunity to get up and down for the par here.
Oh, my God.
And he's pulled it out wide. It's not going to get that big skip back that he needs.
It actually falls into the little culvert there.
Yeah, he does stay in bounds, but
right.
It's just outside the circle now and not really a putt that you want for par.
No, we're finally to Garrett's drive here, almost pin high. So he has this mid-range, just short. Again, just the touch of putting a mid-range in Garrett Gurthie's hand from anywhere
Yeah, I believe that was actually an AVR X3.
Oh, was it? Okay.
There.
Just low there for maybe after a great recovery shot.
Yeah, that's one of those shots you want to capitalize on, out of position and get yourself back into position. Even though it would have been an incredible birdie, it just feels a little off.
Right. Scott here to save the par. Oh, and that's a great putt here for Withers. A nice little step putt as we rewind that back. Perfect timing, getting the weight shift through and just willing it in.
Yeah, that keeps that momentum going for him.
Yeah.
A great par save there.
Yeah, he's had a good couple of last holes. Started out slow, but really getting it going here in the middle of the round.
So AB with the par save as well. Also great par save.
For sure.
Just feels a bit different than Scott's did.
Garrett for birdie here.
And Ricky is going to do the same thing, tap in his birdie. Couple birdies, couple pars here.
As we move into hole 11, par 3, 369 feet. A couple of different ways to attack this, really whatever you're feeling. You can just land straight. It's kind of downhill where the tee's placed. Anything that is not in the sand is out of bounds, that kind of grass that hugs that left side the entire way. If you land in the kind of cement area there with just some runoff water, you are in it's just casual, so you will take it a little bit back, but no stroke applied here. Mid-range, maybe a forehand flex for most of our players here.
Yeah, Garrett going to go with that backhand mid-range. Same disc he's been doing it with the rest of the round, and he does it perfectly. Just a trail of dust as he slides up to the pin.
Ricky going to show us the forehand here. His fairway game with that forehand is incredible. And he's a little bit too much correction from round 2 where he faded out. Oh, no.
And he skips up and out of bounds. That's some pretty unfortunate ground play there. That was stood up too much, but you don't see it kind of jump up over that lip real often.
Scott to try to correct. A little more of a direct line here. His is pretty short, so he's going to have that casual, maybe has some really awkward footing with those rocks. But yeah, at the round 2 here, Ricky sawed it off, so trying to make the correction, but a little bit too much. Probably going to be almost pure hyzer here, maybe even all the way over the top. Maybe to crash this one in. This is going to be fading pretty far right.
Yeah, he's over there in a pretty similar position to Scott. So Ricky with a big putt here to save his par. Looks like he's just outside of circle 2.
Good height.
So Scott looking like he's just trying to figure out a way to pitch up for his par here. Or no, this may be a little forehand run.
Ooh. Almost ringing it up there for the birdie. Really odd stance here with that palm tree behind him. Let's see if Barela can put this home, kind of get back going here after a little bit of a lull here. That's a great putt here.
Able to connect. He's got a great putt for that low ceiling shot. Very
really
straight,
direct.
Very direct on a straight line. It doesn't really have much up and down movement in it.
Ricky just to save the bogey here, kind of pushing a little bit long, has a weird stance. Catching some tree on the way in, but no problem. And it's kind of a rare bogey here on 11.
Yeah, not something you see real often. That out of bounds doesn't really come into play.
And Garrett after a phenomenal drive.
And
Yep, that's how. Yeah, there's
like
no
it.
words. No, he has that hyzer that sometimes can kind of fight through, maybe just strike the pole and move some chains around. But
No, man, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, there's not. It's
Unfortunate.
Incredibly.
At least it wasn't for par, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's a birdie you feel like you got, but you got to shake it off and move along. Man, that hole 12, 396 feet. You can throw a high stall shot or a low, fast skipping shot on a. Sorry, that last putt just threw me off.
Just threw you, yeah.
But yeah, a high stall shot or a low, faster shot that gets a lot of skip moving right to left. There is a green and a bunker on the left side if you saw it off real bad, but other than that, left side's pretty safe. You don't want to go too far and get on the cart path either.
Yeah, really depending on the wind, but the conditions today were just really calm. This is inside, though, for Anthony.
Yeah, if this kicks a tree, it's in that bunker area.
Fight's pretty far forwards, but it's going to be a tough putt from there. Thankfully, doesn't find the green.
It looked like he was waving that yellow flag there.
Oh, was he?
He may be in that bunker.
Good reset here from Garrett. There are houses that line this golf course pretty dang close, so being able to reset after distraction is a good thing.
Yeah, a few dogs, a few volleyball games,
Some blaring jazz music as we had in round one.
And Garrett just catching one of the last trees there puts him just outside of circle 2. Gonna have a long look.
And Scott trying to make the correction for the first two guys in the card here on what is pretty 396 feet, right-handed backhand player, a pretty stock shot.
Yeah, as calm as it is, you don't really get to go big hyzer. You do have to throw it on pretty straight to start off with, which I think is where the early release comes from. Scott does make a correction on that, but it is a little wide. If this didn't go too far, it's going to be great.
Oh, that is more than great. That's parked.
So Scott always had clean form. He's got that sneaky distance. Maybe we'll see why right here. Nice smooth run up, runs around his body, kind of reaches out more than he does back. And just real clean. Got that nice solid pull through.
Yeah, kind of that wide rail where he kind of gets that away from him and then brings it back into the power pocket. More direct line here from Ricky, but getting it to hold straight. This looks pretty good. You can stay. Oh, big skip, though, here at the end.
Oh, and that's getting a big old roll away.
Jeez.
And he does roll.
Oh, and you're right. Barela does.
On the left side.
He is going to go from the bunker here. Giving it a run, trying to save the par.
Yeah, tough stretch here after a lot of pars. Gonna feel rough to take a bogey. Rick also gonna be trying to save.
Just high.
And 2 bogeys in a row here from Rick.
Yeah, you don't really think of this green as one that is incredibly fast, but just off the top as well from the other side. But if you don't hit this kind of false front in this hill, it really does tend to get away from you. Here's the bogey look for Barela. Good putt there, but yeah, it's been a little bit of a stretch here without birdies here for Anthony. Really needs to get it going here in these last 6 holes. After a great drive, Scott's able to step up here for the only birdie look on the card.
Yeah, lone birdie on the card, and this hole did average at a half stroke under par. So strange to see Chase Card here with a couple bogeys and only 1 birdie. All right, and the bad basket holds on to that one.
Yeah, that's after such a brutal kick out in the previous one. You got to expect it's going through your mind.
Yeah, it definitely makes you nervous.
You've seen them in the hands of professionals, helping them compete at the highest level. Whale Sacks is a female-owned small business, handmade in the USA. We are dedicated to outstanding grip for all disc golfers.
As we move into hole 13, par 3, 387 feet. This tee pad is quite low and you're throwing pretty much uphill. We've seen players go all the way over the top of this extremely bushy tree, but the most common play is going to be pretty direct at it, maybe a hyzer flip with a fairway driver, maybe even a mid-range to try to control the speed, but there is out of bounds lining the entire left side for spectator paths. So if you do fade out or maybe have a little bit too much of that right to left movement, you can find it with the skippy grass.
Sit down. God, that's out of bounds. Shoot.
And coming a bit low left out of Scott, and he was incorrect. It does stay in bounds. There's a little more room over there on the left side than it really looks like there is from the tee pad.
Right. And you'd hope there would be more room with that being a spectator out of bounds, keeping the safety at a high here at Las Vegas. But
it's like Garrett going with that mid-range.
that's such a good drive there, just over the top of the bunker. Is he lining up the over the top shot here?
That does look like quite a high angle he's looking at.
Right.
He does have distance driver in his hand.
He is.
And this is going to go too far.
Thankfully, it spikes down. It stays safe. That's going to be a pretty long putt with a lot of danger right behind it.
Huge shot.
Oh, that's extreme.
It looks like Ricky's going to do the same thing. Just an incredible amount of power here and angle control to even get this that high over top of those trees. This needs to get down pretty quick, though. I think this is moving left.
Yeah, it does get down, and it can't be said enough how far below you are of this green. I mean, it's a good 10-foot difference of where the tee pad is to where the basket is. I mean, it's a really far uphill, and to get 400-plus feet of distance over the tops of those trees, it's a serious amount of torque to get it over there. But
Nice little touch shot there from Scott, showing his little forehand touch. Anthony, after that big shot over the top, not going to be able to connect on the birdie.
Ricky from a similar distance.
A little bit of a less scary putt here. He's not looking directly at that bunker like AB was. And catches the top. So Anthony and Ricky both kind of on that struggle right now, have some bogeys and having trouble getting the birdie.
Garrett, after a great drive, has this left for birdie.
And able to connect. That's a great birdie there. This is the second most difficult hole, averaging at a 2.98, so just barely under par. Just showing what a great birdie Garrett just got.
For sure. And that'll be a par here for Barela.
Hole 14, 798-foot par 4. You've got these trees right here off of the tee shot to deal with. You most likely are going to go over top of them at this point in time, just to take the gap out of play. There is some OB right and the OB cart path on the left. You try to bite off at least 400 feet off of this tee so you can have a manageable shot into this green. That does slope off behind it as well. You don't want to have too much power and go OB long.
Yeah, really picturesque green here, but it takes a lot to get there off the drive. And this looks perfect from Garrett.
There is a collection tree over here
Yep.
on the left side. Garrett is heading towards. He skips on past it, which could cause some trouble, but it looks like he stays in bounds over there. But should be pretty close to that cart path from where he's at.
Scott with a good stand-up shot here, getting that full distance.
Yeah, and this is going to fade right back towards the center. He'll be in a good position to attack the green.
Yeah, and at this 800-foot mark, this feels like a good just general distance of a par 4, 2 full shots, and then a pretty difficult green, making sure that that second shot has a lot of control and touch behind it. But
and maybe getting over on this one. I'm not sure it's going to be able to stay in bounds. And it looks like he is going to be over on the right side out of bounds.
Yeah, just trying to go really big there, making up for what's been going on right now and just getting away from him.
Yeah, Ricky getting a good shot off. This looks like it's moving fast enough. It should get past that tree, and he's just right next to it, so that's fine.
Yeah, we saw him in round 2 have to kind of jump past it as he was throwing. And
so AB having to go super aggressive here, and wow.
His recovery shots, he had one on the front 9, and then here on the back, the recovery shots after just a little bit of an errant drive, and these are not small recovery shots. These are 400-plus feet.
Yeah,
put it and give himself a putt.
To bite off what you want to bite off of the tee shot. And it just makes it a little more difficult when you're doing it the second time. Having to put all that power in and get as close as you can to the pin.
Scott, a great approach there as well. Just inside the circle, going to be on the backside, the safe side of the green, really being able to run it a little bit more, not have the out of bounds to worry about, but still up on that pedestal. The hill. Ricky with asking it to sit, needing to slow down, and that looks great.
Yeah, that's about how you draw it up. That should be a birdie to try to get him back on track. See if he can hunt down a few more before the round's over.
And Garrett was so close to going out of bounds here. Just on the edge.
Yeah, and you see him not take his full relief because it puts him more on a hill, so...
Sit down. Does curl up.
Yeah, nice curl there. He'll be just about 12, 15 feet away.
There's Scott for the birdie. A little bit uphill putt here. The wind, thankfully, not doing too much. Nice birdie here to take him to the 30 under on the tournament.
I didn't see where he's at. I think it's Rick.
Also taking him into the top 10. And Ricky for birdie as well.
And able to connect, getting him tied with Scott for the round, both at 6 down. Garrett now looking to do the same. And able to connect.
Something about Vegas and these low-hanging, really green trees around these greens. It's so picturesque.
And what a save from Anthony there.
Incredible save.
The crowd was so spectacular today. Just the energy from you all was just amazing.
I love you, Oregon!
We head into hole 15, par 3, 439 feet. A left to right moving shot has a new basket placement, kind of been pushed back a little bit out of the bowl up onto the hill, making those putts that used to land just on circle's edge, kind of in that mid-circle 2 range as this one guardian tree. We've seen a lot of different plays here. You see the backhand turnover, the forehand, even a roller to be able to kind of collect there. A lot of different ways to attack, and this coming in is one of the harder holes in the course just because of the shape and the distance. Scott looking to go to the backhand here.
Yeah, a lot of the time, these 460-foot holes usually finish to the left.
Right.
And once you add in that finish to the right, it's a lot more more difficult for a lot of these right-handed backhand players because that 460 feet doesn't come as easy with the forehand.
Especially landing right after that on the backhand. And because, I mean, not many people have that 460-foot, kind of slightly uphill distance forehand. And Ricky definitely going for it here. Needs this to stand up.
Yeah, this isn't going to quite stand up enough. Gets a good amount of distance on there, but fades out early right side. He may have a long look, but most likely going to be a par from over there.
Yeah, there is out of bounds on that right side, but really doesn't come into play unless you get over on something.
And Garrett going with the roller play that you were talking about here.
Oh, yeah.
And it needs to slow down. It ramps up over that hill and does curl back around. I think he'll have an open putt, but most likely rolled outside of the circle there.
Yeah, had a lot of speed coming in. 59 feet for a roller is a pretty difficult task to get it to curl that fast.
And AB going with the forehand. This might have the distance, but he's got it out wide.
It's going to be blocked by that guardian tree. But yeah, he definitely has that distance in his arsenal, but just a little bit too wide out of there. Scott probably just laying up and, yep. Smart play there with that new pin placement to be up on that hill. If he puts it a little too high, rolling back on the other side, and good choice there. And Ricky did make it pretty far down here where he's going to a knee and has a somewhat of a look here. He's just to flex back and
had to go Anheuser underneath that tree, and very tough to get that angle right. Gives it a good bid though. See how far Garrett is here. Yeah, probably 40 feet. Gets it up nice and high, but just pulls it off to the right side. And it's looking like we're going to have a bunch of threes. Well, we do still have Anthony here with his chance.
A similar distance to Garrett, but having to go to a straddle with that one guardian tree in the way. Oh, and he makes good.
And able to connect for the birdie. You know that one feels good. Let's rewind it.
There's that putt we expect from him, that really nice nose control, slight hyzer, and just so much torque coming out of his wrist that last couple seconds of his putt.
I like that camera angle where the disc just disappears once it falls in. That was pretty neat.
Yeah, he needed that to get something going here in this round. Sitting at only 3 under, definitely not the round he was expecting so far. A couple of holes that he definitely has the distance to be able to birdie out, but needing to make a charge here as we finish out. Be a par from Ricky. And Garrett and Scott here to do the same.
Yeah, really one of those bonus birdie holes here.
Yeah, this playing as the third most difficult hole, only .06 under par. So really, I mean, a true par 3, and if you get it, you're picking up strokes on a lot of people.
Yeah, and that brings us into one of the more difficult holes on the course. 888-foot par 4. Got a tight gap to hit off of the tee. And unless you can throw about 500 feet or so, you're going to have a long distance second shot to get over top of this OB green and up this hill to make it to the basket. These players all have enough distance to make this, but it's been a par 5 in the past. Nothing really changed, just the par, and a very difficult hole.
Yeah, and as our game progresses, and as people like Anthony Barela right here throwing further and further, we're going to check in with his form. I mean, par 4s, 5s turning into 4s when you got form like this, letting that disc stay still, moving his body around. I love that last step when he really gets that huge weight shift. Actually rotates on his toe, where most people do rotate on the heel. Just so much coming over it to maintain balance, and just so much torque out of him.
Yeah, that was so far to get out of a hyzer shot like that through a gap. Scott gets a good shot out there as well.
Like you said, Scott has that sneaky distance.
It's just sneaky. You don't expect it to go, and There it is.
Doesn't have the fastest run up, but just able to use what he has and make it work. And Ricky definitely not having sneaky, very obvious distance here as a stand-up hyzer, and this is going to even skip past Barela's. Huge drive there from Wysocki.
Yeah, these are fantastic shots. They're all going to be in position to attack this green, get one of the harder birdies on the course.
And usually one to push past everyone. Let's see what Garrett's got for us. Is this fading back?
Wow.
Yep. I put Garrett last in the card. Every other drive tends to look a little bit short. And Scott here, like you said, being in this kind of 450-ish foot mark, you still have a lot of distance left. Crossing a green, pretty technical landing shot.
And this is out a little bit wide, but it looks like it's coming back nicely. And he jumps up there onto the hill. Yeah, he is inside the circle. Probably about 25 feet.
Barela having to go to a little bit of a straighter play unless he puts it high like this. This needs to go. Can have an uphill putt if that did sit down.
Yeah, it looks like he came up a little bit short left, but close to circle's edge.
Ricky actually, is that a mid-range, I believe, in his hand there? Wait, that's fading, I believe it was, yeah. Just a little bit right. Ooh, almost bringing the out of bounds into play, which is a rare thing there, but going to be just outside the circle. Should be able to make it from there. That's definitely Ricky range. Garrett definitely going with a mid here.
And this looks great.
So good.
11 feet there, gonna have pretty much a tap-in birdie. Just incredible stuff to watch these guys. There's so many players that just throw so far now, and Ricky.
Let's rewind that incredible putt back, almost finding the out of bounds. Mid-circle 2, gets it up and in. Man, putting those daggers back in his hand, coming back to Trilogy, it is just an exciting thing. The Raptor legs definitely going to be coming out hot this season. Scott with this left for birdie. Really great putt there.
Wow, we have a chance for a star frame.
We do. See if Barela can continue that momentum after the huge putt on 15. And he does.
And able to connect, which is looking like we are going to see that star frame now with Garrett being only about 10, 11 feet away.
And that's an incredible feat here on 16. Like we said at the beginning, this used to be a par 5 last year with really little to no changes, if anything.
And it's quite surprising to me. This hole actually averaged it at 3.78, which is a pretty good ways under par, and just shows how far people do.
PDGA Event Support Helpline. I'm not sure if it's going to work out yet. I just said I would do it. PDGA Event Support Helpline. PDGA Event Support Helpline. And so now we'll do what I'll call the supervillain take. PDGA Event Support Helpline. That was awful. I hated every piece of that. I'll have alligator face on. I'll go from there. Oh, God, are you still there? No, I just listened to someone die. I just listened to someone die.
As we move into the penultimate hole here at the Las Vegas Challenge, hole 17, par 3, 457 feet. This one is a true hyzer flip control shot at a max distance range. Really good par 3 coming down the stretch. Really nice tee pad with a really picturesque just sunset coming in. I mean, this is really just a difficult hole to control the ability to move left or right and get that distance.
And this is going to be fading out a little early on AB.
Yep, he knew it out of his hand.
Gonna be, excuse me, out of bounds up there on the left side. He'll have a chance for a par putt from there, but really need a bit more stand up. I'm surprised that to not see him disc down to a fairway driver here and still throw something that's gonna fade that hard.
Yeah, I thought the same with his distance. Being able to control that left to right movement, discing down is definitely something that he could have done. See if Scott can make a correction.
And he has gotten that disc to stand up nicely. Just misses that last tree over on the right. Skips up to about 15 feet, and that is a perfect drive here on hole 17.
That distance isn't seeming so sneaky anymore. I mean, that's a phenomenal drive here on 17. Ricky is disking down here, but this is turning. You hear him out of his hand say good par. And yeah, I mean,
Well, we saw
I don't
him
know.
throw in
right. I'm like,
from a bit further away than that the other day.
and from a knee and behind the tree. If you haven't seen that, definitely head back to round 2. If you're here after not seeing round 2, what are you doing? But let's get to Garrett. Definitely a shot he has in his arsenal. Great hyzer flip. Let's get away from him too.
Yeah, drifting a little bit too far right.
Nearly the exact spot as Ricky. Let's see if Garrett can spin one in here as we... Ooh, looking close.
And gives it a nice bid there. He'll have his tap in par. Ricky gonna try to make another long putt here. He's just inside of circle 2, about 60 feet.
Just low. Edge of circle 2, no jump putt, by the way. The amount of just spin that he can get and controlling that height to move forward is amazing as we go to Barela to look to save the par. He did make quite a ways down here. Good save.
Yeah, nice par save. He's been able to collect himself well throughout the round and keep putting well after some mistakes. Good to see that from him. And Scott, just after a great drive, going to be looking to take the lone birdie on the card, and does so.
Yeah, the confidence he has walking up to those 10 to 15 footers. He's playing so many tournaments, so many wins in his career. Really excited to have him here on the tour for more of a full-time stay for the first time in, I believe, ever. So definitely going to be a name to look out for. And even on, being up in Oregon, some of those courses being a little bit more wooded, but come out to Vegas and he's got all the skills. As Garrett taps in his par as well. And let's move into hole 18, Nathan.
Yeah, 720 foot. Just a great finishing hole. Really turned into one of the more prominent finishing holes on tour. You've got OB water on the right, OB water on the left. Ideally, if you can make it over this cart path on your drive, you're going to have an easier upshot to a very perilous green with water on the left. And if you just crest this hill long, it's very likely to go OB as well.
Yeah, a hole that's, can't really think of many more picturesque finishes here, but has a lot of teeth and a lot of different ways to attack it.
Yeah, and it is the most difficult hole on the course.
Yeah, year after year, I feel like that's so consistent with no changes. Does stay safe, center cut for Scott.
Yeah, he's in a great spot there, just short of the cart path. He'll have a fairway driver most likely into the green.
Maybe looking to bite off a lot of distance, you got to think here, trying to close it out. This is high out of the hand.
Yeah, this is moving a little bit left. He is in the wider area there, but it needs to dig, and it looks like it does skip out of bounds on him. As far as he got, he'll have an opportunity to save the par from there. And now it looks like Ricky's taking a bit off of this, not really trying to bite off too much.
Still making it across the cart path, but kind of on that uphill run up a little bit. And speaking of take it off here, I believe this is a mid-range in Garrett's hands.
Yeah, discing down, knowing that Even if he stays short of this cart path here, he's still got the distance to attack this green. Really taking off that pinch point that you have on the tee.
This looks a little bit wide.
A big hyzer here.
Needs to hook up. Unfortunately, it takes kind of that negative skip. If it was a little bit further, maybe skipping into the edge of that bowl, putting him closer, but going to be probably a layup for par with how much danger there is and that low ceiling being on the side of the basket that he's at. Just a little bit further here is Scott. Looking to probably throw a hyzer, try to crash in as well. This looks
and this
great.
is looking really good. It's going to get slowed down really more than you expect. This brown grass up here is not as fast as what we've seen on the rest of the course. Grabs it just a bit more, so he'll have a circle's edge, maybe just inside putt.
Mm-hmm. This is getting away from Ricky on that left side, and he does skip out of bounds. Yeah, with how much danger there is, you got to hang that out a little bit wider, a little bit higher, let it sit and spike.
Yeah, that's not a mistake you usually see from Ricky to finish a round. He's usually pretty strong at these points. This looks pretty good out of AB. It should sit down.
He's short, though.
Yeah, that did come up quite a bit short. We're not going to have many close putts here. I think Scott might be inside the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And that's in trouble.
Down as well.
Yeah, that's
finding OB twice here on ATM. And this is why it's the most difficult course. You know, it's beautiful, all the water around, but I mean, that would be so close behind the basket up on those bricks. And Scott, realizing that he is in the top 10, knowing he doesn't need to make that putt, achieving a goal of his that I was able to talk to him earlier this week about, and you know, an amazing showing for him, knowing that watching people slide out of bounds, it's a good comebacker there from AB, but that ability we have in our game now to check into the scores and see you're where you kind of want to be and take a stress-free par.
Yeah, and AB going to end up with the double bogey there after 2 OB strokes. Ricky going to be able to tap in a par. And Garrett already laying up, going to tap in his par as well.
And that'll do it here for the 2022 Las Vegas Challenge.
Yeah, so Scott coming out with the best round on this card. Going to come back and tie Ricky up.
Tying it up for 7th place. But yeah, just an uncharacteristic, round there for Barela, especially that double bogey there at the end. But
yeah, starting off hot and then just falling off. But as you see, we had some hot scores, lots of 13 downs, some 10s and 12 you see in there, and just great shooting for this entire event. You see those 39 under pars in 4 rounds, that's a tough thing to do out at a Disc Golf Pro Tour event.
Yeah, and at 3 different courses. It's not saying, hey, I was able to correct off mistakes. We played 3 courses in 4 days. Really not any other tournament here on tour that we have the chance to do that. You yourself as a player, talk a little bit about that, heading into, as we go into Waco and what to expect there.
Yeah, it'll be refreshing to get to Waco and just play
Definitely.
one course. Definitely looking forward to that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us here at the first stop of the Disc Golf Pro Tour here at Gatekeeper Media. Be sure to like and subscribe. My name is Mitch Phillips. Joining me is Nathan Queen, and we will see you in Waco.
We'll see you guys out there.
Hey Disc Golf fans, thanks for watching some great Disc Golf Pro Tour action on Gatekeeper Media. Coming up, we've got live coverage on the Disc Golf Pro Tour YouTube channel of the final round action. Watching this later? Check out the Disc Golf Network at discgolfnetwork.com to see what's up live next. And thanks for watching Gatekeeper Media.